Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on which time zone you are in currently. Thank you very much for being here with us for this squad announcement press conference for the Reggae Girls as they get set to face England in a friendly international on June 29 in Leicester. We're joined with the head coach of the senior women's national team coach, Hubert Busby, who will go into the squad. But before he goes into that, he'll be providing some opening remarks before we put the squad on the screen. So, Coach, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well, and we look forward to hearing from you in a moment.
Yeah, good afternoon, Simon. Good afternoon, morning, evening, depending on where you are joining us from. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us for this press conference today. Before we go into the announcement, again, just want to take this opportunity to wish Coach McLaren and the Reggae Boys and all his staff all the best tonight versus Panama. So looking forward to the game. I think a couple of will stay up in the wee hours of the morning to watch as much as we can before we have training tomorrow. But yeah, wish them all the best tomorrow. Well, tonight actually.
All right, Coach, do you want me to put the squad on the screen now and then you can go into the details? That's all right with you?
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right. Okay. You can go ahead now.
All right. So the squad for this England series, we have Leah Brooks, Saria Menza, Leah Morgan, Alison Swaby, Nair Cardoza, Chantel Swaby, Amelia Van Zanten, Naima Ingleton, Tiffany Cameron make up our defenders. Midfield will have Atlanta Primus, Sade Adamaluku, Diane Sampson, Jade Mitchell, Jade Bailey, Kiara Jade Bailey, Kayla McKenna, Calissa Van Zanten, Cameron Simmons, Rihanna Blades, Natasha Thomas, and Rashaya Walker. All right, so that's just the squad that we will face England with on Sunday. And at this time, we'll open up the floor to any questions you may have.
Yeah, before we open the floor for questions, Coach, yes, just a reminder to persons to do raise your hand. And once you're called upon, then you'll be unmuted and be able to pose your question to Coach Busby. Coach Busby, if you'd like, before we start to go into the new faces of the squad, we have a player that was trained with us with the under 20s. That would have been Sierra Jade Mitchell. If you want to go into a little bit about her so persons can know a bit more about her, and then we take some questions from persons in the comments.
Yeah, I think that's the only new face or new name that is kind of matriculated through the program. I think everybody else at some point in time has been in with the senior team. But Kara Jade Mitchell has come through our U20 program. She's done really well, similar to Jalen McPherson. We want to try to, and as well, Destiny Powell provide opportunities and the experience for those young U20 players to come through. We're really looking forward to having her within the squad, and yeah, she's an exciting young prospect that I think will do well for us in the future as well.
Thank you, Coach. Let's start off with David Williams. Go ahead, David, with your question to Coach Busby.
Coach, good afternoon. First question is, can you provide any update on Bonisha and also what's the situation? Two questions. What's the situation with Taylor Hines and Ebony Salmon passport situations, Coach?
Well, I think I'll speak obviously with Bunny again. Bunny is still out. I think the program for her with Man City is to get back healthy. As you guys know, she had a long-term injury. I think she's on her way back to full strength. But as I've kind of alluded to in the past, it's very rare that clubs allow players coming back from those sort of long-term injuries to the first time they come back and playing matches or with their national team. That's always reserved for their club. And with preseason on the horizon, the most important thing again for us is to make sure, and for Bunny, is to make sure that she's healthy going into the start of her season with the Women's Super League, and obviously for us to make sure that she's healthy heading into the World Cup qualifiers. So I think that's the priority. Unfortunately, with Taylor Hines, we're still waiting for that final documentation that needs to come in to allow her to play in Type A friendlies, which is what we're waiting on. So that's where it is. And as for the other player, at this particular point in time, there really isn't any update on that player at all.
Okay, thank you very much, David. Go ahead, Dre. Good afternoon to you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Simon. Good afternoon, Coach. Dre here from Dre Anywhere Sports.
Good afternoon, Dre.
All right. So, Coach, we saw where you weren't able to travel to the US, or you wasn't present in the US the last couple of friendlies that we played in the US. Now, are you a part of the delegation for the England trip? Will you be there also?
We're currently in England right now. We start training tomorrow. The players have arrived, so everyone's arrived. The staff last night. The players in today. So yes, we're looking forward to training tomorrow, and the everyone's arrived safe, sound, no travel issues. Obviously, it's a long flight, depending on where players were coming in, but just had a meal. Everyone's happy and everyone's ready to go. We'll obviously have some jet lag, ease them in tomorrow, and I'm sure by the end of the week they'll be raring to go.
Okay. And Simon, can I get one more question in, please?
Go ahead. No problem.
All right, Coach. Do you get a sense of frustration with the processing of player documentation, as far as when all the documents are in, and then it's up to Pika to make the next step?
Yeah, listen, obviously those things are outside of my control, and we always say to players and even staff, the idea always is to control the controllables, things that are in your staff. Do what we can, try to do our due diligence, get things in time, follow up, pass in the required, letters of support, whatever is needed. And then obviously we allow and support, Pika to do what they need to do, but that's a process that, we clearly do not have. So yes, from a overall perspective, yeah, it's frustrating because obviously you want the players to be able to be embedded in those who've declared and committed to play. So yes, it's a frustrating process, but it's a process that we have to allow to play out. And so, really, what we want to do is ensure that everything's in place outside of this window heading into qualifiers. And so, I know all the necessary parties and those who are able will do their best to work with Pika to make sure we get all those documents in order prior to October.
Eddie Vision. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yes, afternoon. Afternoon, Simon. Afternoon, Coach. Coach, we've been playing high-level games against some big countries, quality opposition. Not doing so well. What is the plan for this England game? Is it to continue to experiment or give experience? What is the plan really?
Well, I think first and foremost, you play the games that are presented to you. Ideally, we want to mix them up, but when these games come about, either you play them or maybe you don't play sometimes, and so it's not always as easy as compared to maybe when you have Nation League games or games built into your schedule or part of the calendar that doesn't exist on the women's side. So you play the games as they are presented to you. And so, yeah, there's some difficult decisions to be made at that particular point in time. Do you play a game? Do you skip out? Without a doubt, Eddie, yes, we've played the toughest schedule in CONCACAF within the last calendar year. I think, look, is it in terms of coefficient ranking within the top 10 of the world, but we haven't shied away from people. And I think, these games in terms of giving a lot of our younger players the opportunity to experience, the high pressure environments of playing the top 10 teams in the world, I feel is only going to put them in good stead. And once you kind of reflection, and yes, no one wants to lose football matches, but I think when we're able to extract what we see and what we get in ways that sometimes the normal supporter might not get, we're taking away a lot of positives from it because we're increasing the pool and giving a lot of younger players a great opportunity to play these matches. And leading up to the World Cup, when the team went under to Australia prior to the World Cup in Australia, went the pre tournament a little bit. I think it was in February of 2023. Those games we didn't necessarily do well, also, but those games were tough. Gave a lot of experience to some of those players, and it obviously put us in good later on in the year. And so nothing like this, that's for sure. But we're here in England. We've got great support. We're looking forward to the match, and we know the players are looking forward to the opportunity for sure.
Eddie, you can have your follow-up before we go to Karen. Go ahead, Eddie, with your second.
Yes, coach. Playing these big games, we're still without, I would say, our first team. We're still missing a few key players. How frustrating is that?
Yeah, it is. It is. But then there's other opportunities for players to come up. And as we see, look, the reality is when things, you have to extract the positive, right? And at the end of the day, we are missing players. But what happens if we're missing players in October and things outside of our control? Well, we've now going into that first round, we've given experience to players and our younger players. And sometimes when you do have those younger players, there's a little of that exuberance and excitement, that energy they bring. Yes, they're going to sometimes, make mistakes, but they're growing. Every time they come in, they're growing. So it is frustrating not to have a lot of our experienced players, but a lot of our experienced players as well are coming off of very, very long seasons, whereas, their clubs have asked them to, and they need that mandatory break, as you can see. And not just us, that's just not us, all the other nations who are playing this late into the season. We're not playing, obviously a competition. So again, these clubs pay these players, and the reality is that we try to work with them in terms of their periodization, in terms of what's healthy for them, what's needed for them to go into their preseasons. And sometimes those things again are outside of the federation's control because we have to pick a squad based on the players that are available, and sometimes the discussions are made prior to who can come in, and sometimes they're like I said, out of our control. But yeah, we don't want to be missing those players with them. But again, we're taking a lot of information and a lot of learnings and carrying it forward for sure.
All right, let's go to Karen now. Go ahead, Karen. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Simon. Hello. Coach Busby, I have a concern as it relates to the local Premier League, which I know is going on now. And I know you don't reside in Jamaica, but I know that you have members of your coaching staff that live in Jamaica. I want to know how much obviously the league is not at the level that we would like it to be at, but I just wanted to know how much of an attention you're paying to that league, and if you see any players that you think with the proper coaching and development could see their way into the national program.
Well, I think the first thing, the last 6 months, I've actually have resided in Jamaica, so
I'm sorry, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Loving Draxal. So I have been. So I think I have been following and been keeping a close eye on the league. There's players in there weekly that we're able to watch. I think the league is doing a good job. Even when I can't be there necessarily in person, we've been able to pick up on games we've had. So obviously, I am close contact with obviously Coach Gilbert as well, and the players who are there. Some of those players who are not just in that league, but some of the younger ones, some of them who've come home from the holidays. I've been following them and also assisting them to continue their education and their footballing ventures come the fall. So when they leave, the season's ended. We're helping them get the scholarship, some of them to go overseas, We've also had conversations with professional clubs with one or two of them to keep their eye on them. So we're very engaged with the players in that league. I think what's hard to gauge sometimes is where those players are at. But the players that we have been speaking to, they know that they're being watched and they know they're being monitored, and that we'll continue to do that. And it's going to be a process, as you know, Karen. It's going to be a process to be able to continue to develop and build that league. And I think it's one that we're all committed to. So we have to be patient. I think it's important that the players know that they have to keep on working. I think it's important that the environments they're in keep on improving. So everybody, as I always alluded to, has a collective responsibility in ensuring that the environments that these players in improve, facilities, coaching, standards, safety, all those things. So yes, we're all invested and we're all definitely paying attention to those local players and we're saying to those local players continue to do well. But as we're going through again, there's been some of those players have come out and some of those players have been provided the feedback in terms of what's needed for them to make the next step into this squad.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Do we have any further questions? We have time that we could take two more. Again, you raise your hand and indicate. Jason Hall, I know you just joined in a few minutes ago, but if you have a question, you can proceed.
Yes, Jason Hall, Jason Buna TV here, coach. Seeing the squad here, and just had a question. When we go to the game in England, in the last few games, the girls have had to play the games without you present. Will you be present with the team in England for this fixture?
Yeah, I think, as we said, I think you just jumped on. I alluded to we are in England currently right now. Everyone has arrived safe and sound. Just finished dinner. Everyone's in good spirits. Everyone arrived safe. So we'll hit the pitch tomorrow. And we've already started preparation the last 2 days, putting the final touches on from a coaching staff perspective. So all excited. Great facilities at St. George's here. We're spending the same time with the English national team, so really appreciative of the hospitality of England and their wonderful facility here at St. George's. So we're in a great place. Like I said, we're looking forward to getting at it tomorrow morning.
Do you have a follow-up, Jason?
No, I'm good, Simon. Thanks, coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you very much to members of the media. Thank you very much to Coach Busby as well. This recording will be shared with the media quite shortly. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in and have a pleasant rest of your day. And stay tuned to GFF for further updates in relation to the match against England, as we plan to have it on GFF Live as well. So thank you very much to everybody and have a pleasant rest of your day.